Hello, I'm Ina and I have been living in a small mountain village in Carpathian for several years now. Today my morning starts with working in the garden. Near our house we made these beds where vegetables and herbs grow. It's convenient because I don't have to go to the market or store to buy tomatoes. They grow in the yard. But to get a good harvest, you have to work hard. One of the peculiarities of living in the mountains is that the soil is quite stony. That is why these areas have never been farmed, but modern technology allows us to create small beds with nutritious soil. So, when the tomatoes I need for today's lunch are already picked, I hurry to the table outside to do my favorite thing, cooking delicious food. Today I need fresh pork. I take a loin, it's tender, not too fatty, but still juicy. I cut the meat into small pieces with a sharp knife. I also need onions. I peel and chop it. Now I peel the potatoes. It's good that I have a special vegetable knife that can do all this very quickly. After that, I move on to the most interesting and rather unexpected ingredient. I cut dried prunes into pieces. It's a popular ingredient for desserts, but it's not the only option. Prunes go very well with meat and vegetables. They give a wonderful flavor and bring out the taste of other components of the dish. I need to heat up the stove to cook on it. That's right, even in summer you have to keep firewood in stock. But cooking on the stove is a special pleasure because the dishes immediately acquire a completely unique flavor. You just have to wait a little bit until the wood is well lit. I put a frying pan on the stove, add vegetable oil, and put the meat in to fry and stew a little. And while the meat is frying, I have time to chop the peeled and washed potatoes. Summer is in full swing, but I can already feel a slight breeze of approaching autumn. I keep an eye on the meat so that it doesn't burn. It needs to be stirred periodically. I add onions to the frying pan, and immediately the kitchen has a wonderful aroma that provokes appetite. I add a little salt and spices to the almost cooked meat. The individual ingredients of my dish are already prepared, and I just need to combine them together. But first, I prepare a classic white sauce based on flour, milk, butter, and spices, and now I graze ceramic jugs with butter. Put meat, potatoes, and prunes in each one. This dish is called pechenia here. but it has nothing to do with sweet biscuits. In fact, pichenya is meat stewed in jugs with vegetables and a special sauce. I put all the ingredients in several layers so that they bake evenly. Then I pour white sauce into each pot. By the way, traditionally roast is cooked with kvass or whey, but I like the more delicate creamy taste. And of course, I put grated hard cheese on top. It adds its own flavor notes. And now it's time for baking. I will do this in the oven as well. Pots made of high quality clay can withstand high temperatures and do not deteriorate even in direct contact with fire. And the taste of such a dish will be very different from a similar one baked in an electric oven, for example. You can take off your apron, but first you need to bring a supply of firewood into the house. It is not as easy as it may seem at first glance to melt the stove to bake various dishes in it, but this can also be learned. It is important to stake the firewood in a special way and be sure to put dry paper, which ignites first. The weather is beautiful outside today. The sun's rays touch the mountain peaks, causing them to instantly change their shade. In fact, these metamorphoses are no less interesting to watch than a theater performance or a movie. I can watch an open fire with the same delight. By the way, the stuff has already warmed up well, so we can send the pots to bake. I put them in very carefully, one by one, so as not to burn myself or knock over the dishes. While the dinner is baking, I water the potted flowers in the yard. You have to use every free minute to do something else useful. I try to surround myself with beauty that will delight my eyes. Meanwhile, the roast is ready and I can take the clay pots out of the oven. They are very hot, so I do it very carefully. Lunch is almost ready. I am going to taste it now, thanks to the sauce and cheese. This is a fragrant golden crust, and the potatoes and meat are well cooked. And in the afternoon you can do some needlework. I cut the fabric with special sharp scissors and then sew the individual parts together with an electric machine. It's a filigree job, but then it's very nice to realize that I did it all on my own. I'll show you how it turns out later. But for now, I want to thank you for spending this day with me.